money. Yeah, probably. So how
Okay. My name is John McKinney, and we are here for the Port Orange Police Officers IUPA negotiations.
Carly, meet the assistant city attorney.
And I forgot, it is Monday, May 8th, 10:07 a.m.
Manny Marino, Chief of Police.
Kyle Totten, IUPA business agent.
Brian Lambert, IUPA attorney.
William Harrison, IUPA board member.
Chris Raines, IUPA vice president.
Jared Alvasados, IUPA president.
Heather Scapes, HR journalist.
Sharon Kranick, HR director.
Okay. Jared, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm good.
So just, I guess, as a recap, make sure I didn't miss anything from our last meeting. We last met on April the 14th. I logged that for Articles 1 through 9, no change. Articles 19, 20, no change. Article 26, well, you actually said 21, but I want to propose a change to that. Articles 26, 27, and 31, no change. So let me print 10 copies of that. And we also made a good change. We added the IT printer to our so that we're not running up and down stairs throughout these meetings.
Well done.
You know, think smarter, not harder. You know?
Put that back channels.
Okay. So the only thing that we have, Jared, today for you, other than what we wanted, other things, is on your Article 21. PBA brought to our attention the issue regarding the Florida statute changed on the city vehicle. So we wanted to make sure that that was incorporated in y'all's agreement as well. And just so that it's somewhat generic, changing the article name to just vehicles. That way it handles if you're using private vehicles for mileage reimbursement and, your city vehicle, you're covering them both. And, again, we proposed that to PBA. They were fine with it. This is a good article to keep uniform.
No, it's spot on with what the law is.
Yep, we try to be. So if y'all, want to sign off on that today, we can. Otherwise, just bring it back another day.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Sign it. There's your copy, there's our copy. That was easy. Okay, so you just want to start then at probationary Article 10? Y'all ready to discuss that one today, or?
So it's one, yeah. I think that's when we didn't see any changes to make.
I think you wanted to include a peer review.
Yeah.
For sergeants.
Yep.
Oh, yes. I still have to meet with the bargaining unit about that. So I don't have a change to provide you yet until I can meet with the bargaining unit on that.
Okay, because that was the issue with both 10 and 11.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Article 12. You all made a mention of temporary assignments to another classification of 2 weeks. Do you have proposed language that you wanted in there? I mean, I'm good with 2 weeks. I mean, because that's a pay cycle.
Yeah. And that's, I think, the easiest way to write that up would be
Mhm.
essentially copying the same language you have in more than 2 weeks in a 4 consecutive week period instead of more than 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And that would, I think, get done what everyone wants.
So for a period of more than 14 days, and then the parentheses would just be 1 week. Or, I'm sorry, 1 pay cycle. That way it's in conformity with fair labor, under the 7K.
The pay period is 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But I think it would have to be more than 2 weeks during a 4-week period. That way it would cover what they had wanted.
It's, I can't speak for our future system,
Yeah.
but under the workday, it's an absolute, if it doesn't occur within a pay cycle, if they work 12 days on this pay cycle and 2 days in this pay cycle,
It'd be a pain.
it's a real pain.
Do we just want to put language that basically just reflects established pay cycle? Just to keep it simple?
Because even if you say 14 days, if you start halfway through a pay
I-
period.
I-
Within
you're running into
an
the same issue.
established,
Because I think we'd be able to, I think we
we
provide,
want to keep it pay cycle.
right.
Because that's the terms used by FLSA.
I think we would have in that sense too, there would be written notification that, hey, this is your assignment as of X date. And then we could say, hey, that was the pay cycle as of this date.
I mean, I understand Bill goes on vacation today. It's the first week of the pay cycle.
Mhm.
Okay, well then, you step in and you work, you write up or however you call it
Mhm.
in police. That would typically be for, one week only of the 2-week pay cycle. It's Bill's going out on FMLA
Yeah.
for 6 weeks. The first week would be, not part of it. The second week that it would hit, then if we know that it's going to go over, then I'm sure that that would be a retro item starting at that, for, the first pay period of that second week that he started.
Are you typically issuing memorandums authorizing that, or is that?
Honestly, I don't know, because we haven't had one since I've been here.
I think the last time, when we did it last time, we had an interim sergeant and he was notified with obviously an admin meeting, but there was an email confirmation, hey, as of this date.
He did a memo. It was a memo
Right.
saying that on this date, he will serve as interim.
Effective.
So,
such
yeah,
and
effective
such
this
a
day.
day, who would be assuming the duties of
Yeah.
acting sergeant or whatever.
So I think we could reasonably say that when it's the established date can be whatever was noted, and at that pay cycle would be where it would fall under.
Now, you guys don't have issues with staffing wherein someone's acting temporarily moved up,
Not,
right?
not usually on that level, no.
I haven't seen, like I said, the only one I'm aware of was prior to me getting here. And that was for, what, 6 months? 8 months?
Yeah,
That was, Sergeant got injured in the long, so he got medically retired. They pulled somebody off.
And I don't know, was there one before that?
I-
It doesn't sound like it.
maybe short, just short periods, and that was, I think usually it was just from basically like extended illness or something would come up, but it's rare.
So it sounds like it's something that's not really a big issue.
No, it's a rare
No.
occurrence.
Then, yeah, that language will be fine. And I think, yeah, that'll be simple too, because for any type of reassignment, I know normally where that becomes an issue is with some of the agencies where they're having to do it all the time.
Right.
But for you guys, it doesn't sound like that's an issue, so I think that language will be fine.
They're regularly, so the parentheses, I think, would be the start of regular 14-day pay cycle. Instead of one pay cycle would be cleared, it's 14-day.
That's right.
Where's the printer? In the big room?
You go through that door, make a left and a left. It's got my lips.
Mm.
Take the lid off.
You don't need that fancy lid. Come on.
Yeah, we
I just got back from
see
vacation
what
last
they
night.
to do.
Set my coffee cup
And
up,
then
that I brought with me and putting it back down.
This
I
one
knocked
we
it
were
over
good
when I
on.
was emptying the
I
cooler.
think we were doing,
Some
we were
office went all over
combining
the
13 and
kitchen
14.
counter. I'm like,
Isn't that what always happens Monday after vacation? They give emergency work.
Mhm.
And then that's due in.
Anywhere good?
yeah, we were in Marathon for 8 days.
So teasing.
I have to eat right now.
Which I think
No, it doesn't that
Of
sound
course,
awesome.
our thought of diving
We
the
just
whole
did
week
walk
that
out.
didn't work out because the storm y'all had Saturday, they had Sunday, and it killed the visibility.
Yeah. That does kind of make it fun when you can't see past your hand and wondering what's out there.
Well, we went out last Monday and the dive master went down, he hit the ground, didn't see it coming. He's like, we're not diving.
Yeah, the great atmosphere. The airplanes.
Good with that language?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Just gives me an excuse.
Just sign one of them and him.
He has it.
I don't have it.
Oh, you give, okay, got it. Okay. Okay, disciplinary action.
I think we talked about that was combining 13 and 14, Brian.
We're gonna remove grievance from one of them because it was in both of them.
Yeah, the arbitration, or the actual entire disciplinary action grievance procedure can be taken out because it,
Can you give me your proposed language on those two
Yeah.
sections and let me take a look at it outside of this meeting? I need to see what you intend to do on those
Oh.
or propose on those.
the only proposal would be for 13, just remove 13.2, 13.3, 13.4, and 13.5, because that's all done in 14 with 14.4,
You've
5.
got all the steps already listed under the grievance process.
I think that there's a distinction between the two, so I'm just gonna take a look at that outside
Oh,
of
that's
this
fine,
meeting
yeah.
and get back to you on that
Oh,
one.
and it's just to clean it up, so if there is anything that needs to be done, we've got no issue with it. I just
Okay.
skip going ahead in both places.
Got it.
So yeah, if there is
Understood.
something that's different, let me know.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, so we will. Hours of work, 15. So on Article 15, hours of work and overtime. So something that Sharon and I have spoken about, and we just kind of want to throw it out to you is that, you, in your 14-day pay cycle, okay, FLSA allows for the 84 hours within that. Anything over the 80, y'all currently get the 4 hours of overtime. Good with that. What we'd like to consider is just building into your hourly pay that 4 hours already so that the overtime doesn't go into effect until working over 84. In the last year, between holidays and everything else, it becomes obviously, Jared, an issue and, how things are calculated, what's an overtime. If we just go to anything over 84, it's overtime and not that 4 hours. And we'll just build in that extra, or we're willing to build in that extra overtime within your hourly pay. So there's no loss of what you're currently getting between 80 and 84.
So you take the 4 hours, 104 hours of built-in overtime over the year, and you divide that up into however much it is and add that to these guys' current salary.
That's correct. Yeah, so the city's not losing money, gaining money. You're not losing money or gaining money. It's neutral. But the first 84 hours would be at straight time.
Right, under the new system where the 104 hours are broken up and put into your salary.
That
Is
way
this for like workday issues primarily, for how it's calculated and recorded?
It is an item for Workday. It's an issue for Tyler. It's no matter which system you're working on. You're working an 84-hour cycle. So it cleans it up when we're dealing with, okay, well, the holiday was a Friday. It was your last, so do you get overtime for that? Do you not get overtime for that?
Or do you get it part of that or not part of that? Because I
Right.
think that was a question that
Right.
you guys had
Yeah.
before.
That was the
Because they're
issue.
12-hour shifts.
The issue was that
Yeah.
it was a Sunday, which happened to be the
Holiday as well,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you're making $12 an hour and at overtime rate, you're, $6. So we would just add that $24 to your rate of pay so that, it's even across the board.
So would we figure out our wage negotiation, then take that 100 or however many hours and tack that on the end, or?
Correct.
And
Does
this
that
was
affect the
discussed-
pension
Yeah,
contribution?
we're not
This
trying
wasn't
to
discussed
change
at all.
your
Overtime?
rate of pay. That has
That
nothing to do with
should-
what we're trying to negotiate for your hourly rate.
So the 300 hours or whatever it is that we can add to this pension, that would actually come off of that, so they could earn more overtime towards their pension, right?
Yes.
So I think that would be a benefit.
Okay, I would like to see the language. That way I can show it to the bargaining unit and see if they are interested in that.
Yeah, so under 15.2A, it would just change to hours worked in excess of 84 in a 14-day work period. So everything that says 80 would go to 84.
Okay.
And then we'll figure out what we're doing with wages and a little bit, plus this.
Well, and that's, yeah, for wages in the 84, my recommendation for you guys is a group thing. Because it's, I mean, ultimately, it's just moving the balloon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, as long as wages are good and you guys are happy with those, I don't think there's an issue here. I don't
Okay.
like losing it, but
Right.
if it benefits you guys, it benefits you guys.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see the language. See,
Okay.
that would be good to see. That way I can get feedback and understanding and see what the bargaining unit prefers.
But we also surely would appreciate less headaches with workday and
Yeah.
accounting stuff, as I'm sure you guys
Of course
would as
we
well.
would,
So
yeah.
that's definitely
Yeah, I
appealing for
mean,
sure. We do like that.
We can tell, I mean, Jared knows, you know, and even Bill and Eric, I mean, every holiday, this has been an issue
Mhm.
Yeah,
of,
the membership would definitely appreciate that.
Mhm.
you know, so, so I think, you know, whatever little bit, you know, if there is a, we would save in administrative time.
Mhm.
We'd like to see the language and pending the whatever the wage proposal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. Then y'all had a question on 15.5.
15.5, let's see.
Yeah, we're gonna look at that regarding the callback.
Yeah, I think okay, so I think we would just want to do the language where the employee has left his, an employee who has clocked out, changing the language from who has left his normal place of work to clocked out.
People have been snagged in the gym or in the parking lot, like, I've already changed, I'm leaving. Hey, come here. You're staying another 4 hours.
So an employee who is outside their normal work hours.
Yeah, we're just looking for it to be based on their regular time they work versus a location.
Right.
That's all. So
Right.
just clean up that language.
Because the language opened the idea that that person has to physically leave the property for them to have been called back, which we don't want to have that. We just want to have, they have clocked out like they're supposed to do. They've ended their workday, and being called back, they would receive the minimum 3 hours overtime.
Why not just an employee called in outside their normally scheduled work hours?
It's funny, that's
That's
exactly what.
exactly what you
That's
said.
fine.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine too.
So it doesn't matter where they are.
Right. That's fine.
No, I
I'm
like
not
your
sure why it's
recommendation.
ever
That's what we
phrased
do as
that way.
attorneys. We steal everyone else's good ideas.
I don't know.
The worst is like the THIs, like they're in the trucks leaving.
Right.
Yeah, and instead
They
of
hear the crash.
called back, I just make it called in, and that way, I think that takes care of your guys'
Yes.
issue.
I think that would address that issue that came up pretty easily.
So called in instead of call back.
Yeah, I think that's where they were having issues with the language, that leaving and then, but either way, I mean, I think outside the normally scheduled work hours very clearly defines what you're looking for.
I think called
Unless
in.
they were working over for some reason.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if the chief says, Jared, I need you to work over your shift today, well, that's not called in,
Yeah.
call back. That's just,
Even though it's outside your normal
Overtime.
scheduled
Yeah.
hours.
it's if Jared clocked out at 4 a.m. and at 5 a.m. he's called in to, go do an interdiction,
No,
that's a cleared called in.
that's why I like the language of
Mhm.
called in, that definitely,
Mhm.
that's not you're here, you've been working.
Mhm.
But it's also not, you're out in the parking lot and you're still
need
being
somebody,
called in
so,
even if you're out in the parking
Yeah.
lot. So, yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
no, I think that
Yeah.
language covers it perfectly. Very well done, and I will not take credit, even though I want to.
So I won't print that because Sharon and I will sit back and look at 15 too.
Okay.
Then we gotta wait for the 84 hours.
Yep, yeah, that's the 15 too. Okay.
Wait, John, just to be clear, though, because when we do hold people over, technically you're outside your schedule work hours.
Yeah, that's
But
what I
you're
was
not
just
being
Right.
called in.
But they're
Right.
not being called
Yeah.
in, they're just
Right.
being held over.
Yeah. Being told that,
Once it's like-
you're at a
You guys
call,
call
you're at a
it
home,
saying-
you're on a homicide
Yeah,
call.
and that,
Your shift ends at
yeah,
six
that wouldn't be
PM.
covered by this.
you
That's
can't
why they called
leave.
in language.
Right.
That's not called back.
You're
That's
not being
held
called
over.
in.
Right.
Yeah, which I think is
Which
covered
is-
under the regular if you work over your.
That's correct.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
This is- this-
Oh, yeah.
This is your motor officers who,
Still
ended their
directing
shift
traffic.
at 5 PM
Mhm.
and there was a traffic homicide
At 5:30.
at 5:30. And they might have been I get it, they're in the gym working out, they're clocked out.
Mhm.
Or the changing in the locker room. And then-
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then an incident occurs. So I get the, holdover and
That
called
happens more
in.
than you think. Let's be honest, with the traffic homicides though, they're gonna be out there for more than 3 hours anyway.
That's
Yeah.
Yep. So did y'all have any issues on holidays? Y'all didn't tell me
No,
no
no one-
change.
We're fine. We
Holidays.
just changed the holidays and no one brought up adding any more, so I think we're,
Okay.
with the
So,
recent MOU, obviously
Unless
not
there's one
the,
you want to give us.
I
Tree day?
believe we're probably
Arbor Day?
already at the top of,
yeah.
so I'm gonna put as 5/8 that there's
About
no
Juneteenth?
change.
Huh?
Juneteenth.
We have
do
that.
have
We just
that.
got that. Yeah, that was the last,
Oh, that's right, that was
Yeah.
the last thing.
we got that. Thank
An-
God.
Annual
Arbor Day
leave?
next year.
I don't have any notes. Y'all just didn't,
I had that, maybe something I want to discuss with the pension.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, because that's gonna fall under the pension ordinance. So I think we still have to wait for
Okay.
that plus the eight,
Sick
it's the
leave.
same as 18.
so I have a meeting with the city attorney tomorrow
Okay,
on the cash in, so
okay,
I will provide y'all with details after that.
okay.
So uniforms 22,
I checked, there was nothing in policy. There's nothing really in the contract other than they will be issued a pair of boots.
Yeah, and I got,
Rest of the equipment.
yeah, I have an officer who just was denied a pair of boots with a big rip at the side, so apparently I need to put something in there.
Which one? Did we approve that one? We saw one.
I had an officer that he just showed it to me. He said, I just got denied this pair of boots for replacement. So, because
Might have
I,
been because it came up in negotiations, but it's really not a contractual thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
I-
language, and John, we have it in the budget right now. We'll
Yeah.
just have to budget for it next time, but we can start doing that now.
yeah,
Okay.
because we agreed to the $200.
yeah,
And PBA brought it up too, and we said, like, we're good, so, I mean, it was like, we're trying to be,
Yeah.
And-
uniform, so to me, we want to keep that as an SOP,
right.
and,
And I'm fine with that. I think I want to clarify the kind of the SOP with the chief's office that, and to get it to the officers more that I said, hey, when we're doing the requisitions, if you have damage to the boot, we need to note the damage. That way the chief's office can say, okay, it's damage related, not just, hey, it's been over 6 months or a year. I want another pair of boots if your boots are still good. So I want to note the actual damage. So I'm getting that message across. I just haven't, it's not an issue. It's not a current issue.
What level was that tonight?
I sure. He denied it. And so I told him, I said, you need to note the damage, then it should be fine. So,
There's a line for that on the form.
yeah, I know.
so, other than the boots, that will be corrected. There's no change to this article.
The CID stipend's not in that one.
I think.
Yeah, I think
it
somewhere it
is.
is.
And then obviously.
That was the one where we talked about the.
We
like,
tentatively agreed on the
22.5
CID stipends too last time.
Increasing the clothing allowance for detectives.
From 750 to
1,000.
1,000.
There we go, that's right.
I do it all the time.
Yep, I remember.
And then if possible, taking that one-time lump sum up when they first get moved to detective, just so they can try and actually fill out a wardrobe and have enough
What was
clothes
that,
to wear.
500 to
750,
750?
I think what we
Yeah,
discussed, yeah.
I remember there's the note right there.
there you go.
Okay.
So you'd want to pay it at the anniversary of their promotion instead of sometime a year.
I think that's a good. Yeah, I think that's already what's that, isn't it? After 12 months assigned to detective unit.
Yeah, I don't think that, yeah, the time it took effect wasn't an issue, just the,
It was
just
just the amounts.
the amounts.
Yeah.
I just printed it.
Don't you take on from those to like the desktop again?
It's like.
Do it all the time.
Well, it's not the worst though when you are on one laptop, it's and then you go to the other one, it's not, I'm like, oh, crap.
Oh, that's, my wife had one of those touch screens and I use it for stuff, so I need to go back to the office.
Oh.
Grab another laptop.
No one brought that up.
Well, I needed a new
Timeline
laptop
issues.
personally, so I just bought a cheaper version of this.
Yeah.
Because I don't,
Easier for them. to pay.
everything I do is on the web, you know,
It's, that's why you get
You
the
know,
lower
like-
amount.
yes,
Yeah, I
so
just-
I'm like, you know, because I'm like, I'm constantly doing,
Yep.
It's easier for them to keep track of.
I broke one of my wife's laptop screens doing that. I got mad at it because it wasn't working.
Yeah.
But, oh,
but the other nice thing
all right,
is
I'm getting you a new laptop, hon.
I'm sure she didn't mind.
by buying the same one, then when I bring this home, it plugs right in. And I'm like, you know, don't have all these extra power cables.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Then you take your
that's
own
pretty
work.
smart.
Those are 2 figures.
Never have a wife taking grease up the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. The other thing that I need to bring up on 22.3, what we've found in the last year is that we have, obviously with the ever-growing technology, we've got officers that they use their devices at work, use their cell phones for work, and we've had a couple officers that have broken their phones. Either they fall out of the vest, they fall off the clip, whatever it happens to be. So we wanted to address 22.3 and help them to be able to fix that device up to a certain amount.
They're not issued cell phones.
So what gets, so I'll just say this is that as much as phones cost,
Right.
if you don't have the, you know, the warranty on it for breakage, you know, it's worth the $6 and it's $100 deductible.
Sure.
So, I mean, I think that, you know, that $100 would still cover that deductible.
Here's what I'm
It's-
also gonna recommend to both sides,
Mhm.
is either policy or in the contract that private cell phones will not be used. Because if you use your cell phone for, say, even snapping a picture for a case, your entire cell phone is subpoenaable.
See, and
I've
that's
done
a,
it before.
so that addresses an issue because we have to use Axon services, which is on the personal device. So when we do a DUI, for example, I'm using my personal device via the Axon service to record that DUI.
And that makes,
So that's,
that makes your entire cell phone subpoenaable in a criminal trial. So it's, if you're gonna have to use cell phones, I'd recommend doing like a cheap cell phone plan for everybody for a work phone, or take out using the cell phone as part of business.
Yeah, we already have a current policy on personal cell phone usage, so.
But if they're saying they have to use it for the accident.
yeah, we have to use it. We don't have an, we don't have an,
iPads in your vehicles?
what's
or
that?
Do you have
No, I don't.
iPads in your vehicles or any kind of computers?
We're switching.
We're issued laptops, but as far as like, say, like his instance, recording a DUI, we use an app from Axon, who makes our tasers body cam called Axon Capture, and that's how we video record evidentiary things.
Also to edit the body camera videos, so they have to be able to tag the case number, all that's driven through him.
Yeah, because it's all wireless, like
Can you-
your Bluetooth.
Could you
and
do
stuff.
that through an iPad?
Yes, they could.
Yeah.
So it-
IT's gonna
awkwardly-
say an iPad's not gonna be great for in the car, they're not, we're gonna break this, basically. And the iPad is not set up for the computer programs that we use for CAD reporting.
Well,
You're gonna have
we're
an
only talking
interesting
about it
iPad
for
issue.
Yeah.
taking pictures and
Well,
stuff.
and what the jail does with theirs, because we ran into this issue when they got the Axons, is they have, I think it's some type of tablet device. I don't know if it's iPads or what, but they have all the stuff that they would normally have in their phone on that tablet.
Mhm.
It's a work tablet, and that's what they use for all this.
And they have the rugged cases.
Yeah, and,
Yeah,
and I would absolutely
We're,
recommend that,
and
because you
I'm,
don't want your personal
right,
data
and I'm
being-
completely fine
by
with the
me.
idea. You know, we've, obviously we had to evolve. So it would, I never brought my cell phone outside my car, you know, if I didn't have to. So, but now we do, especially with the Axon stuff, we had to transition to utilizing that personal device. So the one thing we presented a long time ago is why don't we just buy buy cell phones that are compatible, a bunch of cheap cell phones, they can be issued out to the officers to keep it. And
Yeah.
we already attach printers per vehicle, fire extinguisher per vehicle, medical kits per vehicle. I said, I don't think it would be wrong of us to assign a cell phone per officer
Mhm.
Yeah.
that, all it has to do is connect to the camera and be able to utilize the app, which is not a hard app.
So let me ask you this, because I don't know your cars. Does your car have Wi-Fi in it?
No,
Because, the cheapest cell phone with data is $39 a month, I think.
but we don't need the data. We don't need the data.
You just need the phone to talk to the camera.
Yeah,
The
you just
camera
need-
makes some
it's
Wi-Fi.
Okay, that's where I was.
So then,
Right.
so
And they
then, yes,
connect
a
by
tablet would-
Bluetooth,
Yeah.
not necessarily Wi-Fi.
Then
Yeah, so a tablet. or a
$15 a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
So I will have James look into that, chief.
And that's just for
Yeah,
everybody.
and I think that would solve the issue because
yeah.
I don't want officers breaking their phone. Like I said, DUIs, they hit your phone out of your hand or something happens and you drop it. You're trying to react to something else and you
The other
can't.
ones you got out and went to chase somebody.
You're right.
Fell out in the
It fell out in the
truck.
road and got
Yeah.
smashed and
iPhones?
Either will
I mean,
work.
phones
Either
or
will talk
tablets,
to the-
either one.
I think
iPhone's
I
a
don't
little
think
bit
there's
easier to hold, obviously.
we don't have an operating problem, so it can be an Android device and be fine.
It just has to, you said they connect through Bluetooth.
Yes.
So it would just have to be Bluetooth compatible.
Right.
Either both the iOS and the Android, they both talk to them.
Right, because it might even be that it doesn't need to have a
Dude, that's where I get a lot of phone.
phone. I mean, we
I
might
get their
get
personal
the
cell
cheapest plan,
phones, scroll through the memes, and it's.
having the ability
Well,
to.
that's the thing, we were led to
Yeah,
believe.
'cause we
that
don't want that
pictures
stuff on
exclusive
their
to
phone.
that, right?
Okay.
Because it doesn't
Well,
save it in your phone. It
um,
uploads it all. We were told like, oh, they won't see
So we will work that out.
Just
Yes,
through
I
the
will.
app. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
getting back, if you break your own personal phone, the deductibles are $100.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, I
yeah,
think that's,
I get that, and
And
that's
if
But if
you're
we're-
making it so they don't have to use their personal phones, and it's not even.
Exactly.
That's not an
Correct.
issue.
Yeah,
Right.
so,
and it didn't used to, and that's the thing. It didn't used to be an issue. If I had my phone in my pocket, that's a me problem. But now it is. But now we have to use the cell phones. So I want to be able to address that. And that would be a good way to address it, especially now. Technology's cheap, so
are you okay with the $100 then?
yeah, that's fine. If we can find a solution for that problem, then we don't really need to.
We will work with IT to get a inexpensive alternative. Because again, you don't need to be able to make calls with it.
Right.
It's
No.
about capturing video and pictures
Right.
and uploading. So,
no, and that's the best way to do it by far, because then you're not, their personal items don't have
They're not at
any
risk,
involvement, so
right.
it's, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
you have to just sign one and hand it to Candace.
Yeah,
Please.
Whichever one.
discuss it tonight.
I'm sorry. Once we.
Yeah.
Oh, no, my other son might have to come back. His name is coming back tomorrow. So, okay. I don't have notes for 23.
Well, I don't have anything for 24, but that's something you and I need to look at.
Yep.
The 25 is the next one I have, but I don't have any notes, so I don't know what we, what 25 is about.
Okay.
Probably because we used to numbers.
I'm telling you, as soon as it's legalized.
It doesn't matter what number. You can't count up this number.
So today, we have a stop at 11.
So you're
So,
hitting the same number.
On workers' comp, that was on us. So we will come back at a later date on 23.
Okay.
24. Did you have anything on 24?
No,
think
we
we
didn't have it
Good on
marked.
24.
Because I
Can you
didn't
just
mark,
look at it one more time?
yeah, that's,
No, we didn't have, that was.
No, I
that's
didn't
the
have
alcohol
anything marked on
protest,
that.
right?
We cleared it for a while.
I have wages, but.
I don't have, we didn't have any issues with 24.
Don't see any. No, we didn't have any issues with 24.
We marked that off.
I think that got I think that got fixed a few years ago anyways, and it was fine.
Okay. Insurance, so that was, I know, Bill, you made the comment that there no issue with our current insurance. It's our cost of the
Yeah,
insurance.
it's a take-home cost, which, that's why we opened it, so we could talk about it. Basically, we understand you can't necessarily change our insurance plan or cover our insurance and not cover the rest of the cities. So if you're not gonna do that, then
Yep.
we wanna see that reflected in the wages. So our take-home.
We
So,
haven't received our renewal yet
yeah,
for this year, so we don't know what's.
we won't know anything on that until September, October, because we're a January to December plan. So we'll just, I can tell you from the city standpoint, we can't do anything to cover any portion of insurance for IUPA and not do it for the whole city. I did go back and look, and believe it or not, we have very few people that have family coverage. So even if we, out of the entire, organization. So even if we were to say, well, and I'm just talking theoretically, pay for 25%, and all of a sudden, I think we would have a lot more families, jumping on to the city coverage, and then that would just throw everything out of whack. So I just don't see at this time us making any changes to how we, pay for any coverage for dependents.
I think they're asking you to be cognizant of the insurance costs.
We are, and when we left the meeting last time, we looked at what our costs are. Our problem is, do you have any thoughts of us looking at someone other than Florida Healthcare? Because there's other alternatives out there, but we've been with Florida Healthcare for, almost since their inception in the 80s, that, the only way for us to potentially get lower cost is to go to Cigna or, someone, other than Florida Healthcare, and it can have you having to make changes to your doctors.
Right.
Especially if you go to a Florida Healthcare doctor, that's not covered by Cigna, so,
You don't want to say.
and I just, throwing one out there. I mean, there's alternatives out there that might be less expensive, but we do have a very good local regional plan. And that's our problem. We are part of a regional plan, not, a nationwide plan.
Right. And we understand that, John, like you said, we understand you can't control, the external influences to some degree. It is what it is with a company like Florida Healthcare. They're gonna group us how they're gonna group us. We just want you to, we want you to just note that cost to us as well when we're talking about wages. That's what comes in effect for a lot of these guys who do come here, the stable employees that we want to hire and retain, who have families. And we say, okay, well, how do we get you to continue to work here? If you're going, hey, insurance is too high, I can't work here, and we lose that stable officer or that stable employee.
Part of the reason you don't have a lot of people on the family plan is most officers that have kids can't afford it to the point, but they make a low enough amount where they qualify for the healthy kids and the state benefits, which you'd think as an employee I'd be able to not be dependent on some sort of welfare system, but that's where a lot of the guys are.
Sorry, my son's having car problems. Yes.
Healthy kids by like
Mhm.
$1,000. I miss healthy kids by like $1,000.
What
I
is
made
the minimum
It goes in.
rate? How much do you have to make in order to be kicked out?
It goes in phases, like one, at a certain level it's free, then you pay half, and you pay 75%, and I'd have to look it up. I know I don't qualify by about $1,000, which oddly would save me like $18,000 a year. I'd save way more.
I'm sorry, y'all. My youngest is stuck in Miami with a broken car.
Plenty of ways to get in trouble in Miami.
Yeah, I told him this morning, I mean, you call me when you leave,
Yep.
sorry about that. Well, luckily, my oldest son is still down in Marathon, so
Oh, good.
he can just leave a day early.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so so we'll just hold off on insurance until, okay. Personal records training, there was no change. Wages, Bill, I know you sent me the revised spreadsheet after the meeting. We're still reviewing that. I'll just, I looked at it again this morning. That's a pretty huge increase. I mean, I think that we're gonna have to come to a little bit maybe somewhere. I mean, I can't present that to council. I mean, let me go back to it. I mean, that would put majority of your sergeants would be making more than directors in the city. You'd be making more than lieutenants. I mean, y'all's ask for sergeants is greater than that of what the lieutenants have asked for, which is a pretty good, they've asked for an increase too. So I know they're, separate negotiating units, but, y'all are far exceeded their ask.
Do you have an idea where you would go from your?
We're gonna come back to you at our next meeting with that. Because if I look at what your ask was, correct.
Yeah, we gave you
30%
two.
off the 22.
Right, we
not the
gave you
24.
two. So we gave you the initial one.
Yep.
And we gave you this last one.
Yeah, he sent it to me Monday, April 17th at 8:03. So that would put, we'll just say, well, Bill, how many years do you have as a sergeant?
4.
4?
Hmm.
I mean, that's $120,000.
I'm okay with that.
So,
Yeah,
So,
could you
yeah.
send me, could you start copying me? when
Yeah, I
you
s-
send
yeah.
this? Yeah, because I haven't seen it.
I'm sorry. Yes.
That's what, like 3 hours of your time? I wish. I just want you to get some money, you pay shit.
okay.
You get to
appreciate
see
that.
us, Brian.
So retirement
I
plan.
should charge extra for that.
So,
Thanks.
so here's my statement on, I remember, Brian, what you made the comment on regarding, the retirement articles. One of the things that we just want to make a statement on is that IUPA can't make changes to retirement without PBA's concurrence or ratification. So, we have, whatever we do here, we have to get them to agree to it as well.
Mhm.
So, whatever you look to, change to Article 29, I would just ask that, maybe that, y'all as a group speak to PBA as well to make sure that they're good with.
Yeah, we've been talking to them because we were trying to change this the last go round.
Yeah,
Okay.
We're
They're already
on
on
board.
tier
Yeah,
one,
this,
right?
this
Yep.
was a,
Yeah, all
this
of them
was,
are, yeah.
this grouping was agreed with, and I could say wholeheartedly, I had that approved up to literally the administrators.
Okay.
So they have they are all in approval of it, assuming that nothing changes. I told them nothing is changing with what I presented.
Okay.
So what was presented, I have a tentative agreement on.
Right. I mean, because as you're aware, just getting the line of duty change in there, I mean, we thought that was, we had it all worked out,
Mhm.
and then it about failed because PBA was not going to approve it. So I just think you all be aware
Okay.
that
Yeah.
before you even propose language on retirement, I would suggest that you have concurrence from PBA before you present it to us.
Right, and I do.
I think we had the majority of PBA in agreement with us
Yeah.
on the line of duty death thing.
As
for
long as
instance,
it's a
and there's-
majority, that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for what it's worth, I think
Yeah.
we had the majority of them on board with us there.
Unfortunately, one person is not the majority.
Yeah.
And what I do want to say is with regard to getting this done, if it gets done quickly, I can tell you that you guys will not have any open positions,
On what?
the police department.
Right, if we get what done quickly?
The negotiations, wages, pension, because there are at least 2 departments out there that are about to lose quite a few people.
Okay.
Just
And then training quality police officers, so.
And I want to, John, I want to be able to get to my bargaining unit with a wage proposal, so I can realistically come back to you with these good agreements that hey, these are approved. So I can't get to the bargaining unit until I get an actual response from the city on this.
Yep, and we will have that submitted to you here in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay. Severability, we didn't sign off on that. Did y'all have any?
I think we had an issue with that one.
with severability.
I didn't
We
have
saw
that.
no issues with that.
Yeah, because y'all didn't list that as
No,
no change.
no, we didn't have an issue with it. I don't think we had an issue with it.
Yeah,
I think
no,
we
that's
brought it up.
standard language.
No, I never brought it up.
Yeah, then I will show it as, No, that's PBA.
But is it in the right location with this one?
Correct. Yeah, so what you're alluding to is we've added all these articles in PBA, and typically severability, entire agreement and duration are the last three.
Yeah.
And they've added several after, so we've all agreed to
Yeah.
renumber them. So yeah, no issue with you guys.
Okay.
And then entire agreement, there was no change. It is still our hope that if we agree to everything, we still would like a 3-year agreement with IUPA, and we have no issue with leaving wages as an opener for, all 3 years.
Mhm.
Then there's no issue with that.
That's fine. No, we didn't, I think it was structured fine when we had this contract term.
Yep. Now on 32.3, so I believe that we're working on Article 15 because, that's, this is in entirety. So I think that 32.3 could be stricken as part of this negotiations.
And I've honestly never seen that language in there, but I get it, because it kind of makes an opener if they do change. So it's whatever you want. If you want it in, that's fine. If you want it out, that's fine too.
Yeah, because we haven't agreed to 15 yet. So if there's a change, I'd rather see that added into Article 15 versus duration.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And then
I mean, honestly, if they change the law anyways, that's an automatic opener, so it doesn't even need to be in the contract.
so I will clean the Article 32 up and bring that back at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So once Sharon and I will look at 32, make the change, and I'll just send this entire Word document to you, Jared.
Okay.
So that you see that, you have what we've done up to today. And then I'll also send our status. So where I see that we have opening, we still have Article 10 and 11, which y'all are going to take a look at.
Right.
Article 13 and 14, you're going to,
Combining those, Brian.
correct, y'all are going to make your suggestions, send it to Sharon and I so that we can provide to Carly.
When you look at it, let me know if there was anything, and then if there is anything, we'll get it figured out between us before sending it over. If there isn't anything, we'll just name one. And they can always stay the same, that's fine.
Mhm.
I can really use it.
Great, sounds good, thank you.
Okay. Okay, then annually, we're waiting on pensionability
Mhm. When's your meeting?
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
I'm just adding
Mhm.
notes so that we know exactly what
Same as 18.
workers, workers' comp. Insurance is open pending wages.
What are you doing with 20? What do we say you're doing with 23?
Cities to suggest language.
Oh, okay.
Wages city reviewing survey. IUPA for retirement plan language,
Mhm.
and then on duration, city to suggest language.
Mhm.
And do we want the articles and one additional article per, or what's your thoughts on that?
It's up to you guys.
Question, what was it?
Well, currently, it was wages plus 2 articles.
For openers.
Oh.
For openers.
I'd say wages plus 1 each, and then if something does come up, we don't have to open.
Be fine. No issues on that.
No, yeah. Yeah, we're fine with that.
Well, yeah, because I've been here a short year, in Port Orange, Wayne keeps saying, you've been here like 10 years. But in the time here, we've already done 2 MOUs,
Mhm.
so if it's something that comes up, we always have the MOU process.
Right.
So we'll draft it with the city suggest language of wages plus 1 article.
Okay, that's fine.
And then I would just, we're going to look at the survey. We'll try and get that to you within 2 weeks so that you have it, for at least a week before the next meeting.
Yeah, when's the next meeting is
The next meeting is,
25th.
May 25th at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Okay. Brian, you have anything else?
No, I think we're all good.
Okay, so to wrap this up, Carly and Brian are gonna correspond with each other on the Article 12 and or 13 and 14. Everything else we'll get to you on ours, and you'll get to us if we can at least get it 2 days before, because I
Yeah.
think we're
It's fine.
coming to the end except for wages.
Yeah.
There's one meeting we have for schedule, which is, I believe, the July 6th one, either 6th, 7th, or 8th. I can't remember the exact date, but we're all going to be at a conference.
We changed it
July
to June.
6th.
We changed it to June 15th.
Change the July 6th meeting.
Oh, July 6th, sorry.
Yeah, I'll go change that meeting. The 5th would be great. Or even earlier that week, Monday or Tuesday.
Tuesdays.
Let's do Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday's the 4th, and then
We'll be here anyways.
Yeah. So are y'all, so we have our meeting, maximum millage is the 18th. So can y'all do July 10th?
You wanted to, okay.
Can we do July 10th at 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I said July 11th first. July 11th at 10 o'clock.
You okay with it?
I only do 1 meeting in advance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well,
So are we changing the July 6th
Yep. So
to
we'll,
that? Okay. To the 11th. At what time?
2,
Okay.
July 11th at 2.
That's fine.
Works out well.
that worked out good then.
So, my final item is so that our next meeting is the 25th. So I am trying to schedule on Tuesday, May 30th, a executive session with council to go over wages.
Mhm.
Okay, so that is our plan. That, when we meet at our next meeting, then the following week, we're having the executive session with council. And then when we meet in June, we can let you know where we all settled, okay?
And I'll tell you, for the guys with wages, it's more about getting that fairly flat line to a more exponential line. So it's about the compression more than
Mhm.
actual numbers.
And we recognize and have stated that, raising $1 here, $1.95 there, that does create compression versus the percentage. So we do recognize we need to work on that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay. The time is now 11:12 and this meeting is adjourned.
Yeah.
Time.